Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jordan Ray, and I'm a habitual hobbyist that tends to tinker on many things and just in pursuit of knowledge, I guess. So you probably clicked on here to see how a half-ton tows a toy hauler, and well, I'm going to give you my full experience. First, let's talk about my half-ton. This is a 2016 Silverado half-ton. It is the Z71 package, and it is the 5.3 liter V8. Now I am currently running a stock diameter tire setup actually with 17-inch rims. Additional modifications include rear airbags and a much larger Mishimoto transmission intercooler, including the thermostat delete. Now outside from that, I do have a few cosmetic customizations, including some hood vents, the front lower bumper delete, and it does have a leveling kit. So this truck is set up not really for towing full time. It's used as a daily driver and all-around property work vehicle in a way. That just happens to be a little stylish that I like. Now the truck does have 147,000 miles on it currently, and the last roughly 10,000 miles of that have been towing a toy hauler. So let's talk about my toy hauler. My toy hauler is a 2021 Nobo 19.1. Now that sounds like a lot, but all that really means is the interior space is 19.1 feet from the back door to the front living space. Overall length with the trailer hitch, it is right around 24.1 feet, I believe. And its height is just under 11 feet. So it's not too tall either, which makes it capable of fitting in tighter areas. It doesn't have any solar. It has one battery to operate the front jack. And it basically has no other boondocking capability, unfortunately. The benefit of this camper is the first 10 feet of the back end is available garage space. It has a 3,000 pound load capacity. The overall weight of the trailer is just over 4,700 pounds. It is a wood floor with a steel frame and an aluminum structure. So that's where it's kind of lighter than most of the other campers we were looking at, and that's how we settled with this one. Now our main motivation for purchasing this toy hauler was to basically load up our motorcycles and go and attend motorcycle rally events. So we trailered to Laconia, Milwaukee, and then we went to Sturgis and lived in the trailer in Sturgis for a month. And then we additionally just recently snowbird in it down to Florida for 3 months. We lived in this camper. Jumping around RV campground. So with all that said, let's get down to what this is actually like towing. Our first trip was actually going to Laconia. It really wasn't too bad. It was cooler weather, and the truck managed to do about 72 to 74 miles an hour on the highway, which is considerably, I felt, good. With the transmission cooler, I had no worries about my transmission. It held at a steady 130 to 145 temperature range. Factory temperatures on these trucks, I don't think that the actual thermostat opens up till after 190. And by the time it opens up, you know, and you're towing, this thing's practically probably boiling already. So transmission heat was not even a worry. What I did not expect is once we got into like the upper states near New Hampshire, a lot of the uphill long pulls for the truck, I noticed started to overheat the engine. So I had to start dialing back the power a little bit, and I wasn't able to maintain engine speed as much. This truck does have the 6-speed 6L80, and it has a 342 gear ratio. I believe with everything loaded with our weight inside the truck and all of our supplies, we were hovering right around the 6,400 pound weight. The only problem is I felt like I would never want to pull any more than that. The fact that this truck is sold as being able to pull up to 11,500 pounds, I don't quite believe. With this configuration, doing the math, it came out to the max tow rating was right around 8,700 pounds. So I never wanted to go more than 80% of the max tow technically with that. If I knew now what I knew then, I probably would have bought at least a 3/4 ton, but I bought this truck used with 130,000 miles. I couldn't really afford much more truck unless I bought older with high mileage. So I bought the truck that I was capable of affording, that I was happy with living with. I just wish manufacturers were a little bit more forefront with what realistic truck towing experiences would be like. Towing up hills with this truck and trailer, white knuckled, especially going down hills. This truck has virtually no natural engine braking like a normal diesel would. Now, driving to Lagonia wasn't all bad. It was very much our first major trip with this truck and trailer, but it gave us a well-rounded mixture of hills, highways, flat strips, and overall elevation changes to know what I would expect maybe doing longer trips. I felt pretty good about taking this truck further, because when we talked about trailering out west, everyone talked about how flat it was and how boring it was. So that actually gave me a little bit of comfort, but it really wasn't all that straightforward. The real challenge wasn't even getting to Milwaukee. The truck did very good driving to Milwaukee. I had little to no issues. And then the real challenge was after we crossed the Mississippi, the overall elevation change just slowly, incrementally rose. And I noticed that the truck was fighting a lot of headwind, and it was constantly searching for a gear. So instead of trying to maintain a speed limit of 70 or maybe 72, especially out there on that highway, the speed limits were 80 miles an hour. I just couldn't sustain that in this truck and trailer. So my top speed ended up being about 67 miles an hour. So that's the best it could do. That was where it was happy with gearing, power, everything basically. Temperatures, engine temperatures would climb if I tried to sustain faster than 67. Additionally, I was only averaging maybe about 7 to 8 miles per gallon. When we did the New Hampshire trip, I was actually averaging about 10.5 to 11. So even my fuel mileage adjustments for gas stops changed. This truck does have right around a 25-gallon tank, but just to be safe, I was stopping just before the last quarter of the tank, so I would stop about every 150 miles. By far, it was about 2 hours in between stretches, so really not that long of a stretch. So now I knew that I could drive the truck across the country relatively safely, just not the fastest. And that's like the biggest takeaway I've learned with towing with a half ton with a trailer of this size is don't be in a rush. Keep an eye on your gauges. Definitely plan your gas stops. Can you do it? Yes. Will you enjoy it? No. Would I do it again? With proper preparation, yes. Future modifications I thought about doing to the truck is maybe a more efficient radiator. Other things I could do is probably look into re-gearing. Re-gearing that truck would probably cost somewhere right around $8,000 though. So is that really an option? I don't know. Would we have liked more space? Yes. Could we have towed a bigger camper? No. I wouldn't tow anything bigger than this ever with our truck. Like I said, that transmission cooler, it is worth its weight in gold. I would recommend that to anyone. Including the rear airbags definitely helped. We were actually also running a weight distribution hitch. I think that should go without saying. Anybody towing anything with a half ton should be running a weight distribution hitch, I believe. The amount of crosswinds I came across out west, I think that distribution hitch and anti-sway bars definitely saved the truck and trailer from being an absolute nightmare experience. So a light walkthrough of our trailer. This is the Nobo 19.1. This garage is just over 10 foot from that wall over here to this back here. We'll actually stagger 2 motorcycles in here, and then up here is all of the living space. So from here to there, maybe 6 foot, maybe less. It does have a full-size queen. Don't mind the mess. We really haven't finished cleaning up in here. It has cabinetry up top. The bathroom is very confining, very tight. I personally would like to make some modifications in here to maybe remove that sink, because right outside the door is another sink. Why I need two sinks, I don't know. I added a small room with a door for the cat's litter box so it was easily serviceable. And I also included a sliding door here with a window for the cat, and that would magnetic shut. Now, you see there's a strap on it now. That's how I would tow, because the first time we went to New Hampshire, it broke all hinges, the sliding hinges off that door in New Hampshire, and I had to swing by Home Depot and fix it. So this just simply closes like that. And then that gave us the capability of opening up the back and loading up our motorcycles while the cat could watch us and laugh. The only other problems I've really had with this camper, this wall over here has continually flexed and broken itself off the wall mounts. I've added multiple screws to the frame to try to hold this in place, and it just keeps breaking. We've only had a couple water leaks. One we had over the wheel well here, another one over the front window by the kitchen. Other than that, we've had no real water leaks. For the money we paid for this, it was only 27 grand. And that's kind of like another takeaway too, is the amount of money that we have in this trailer and in that truck isn't even as much as most people put into just their truck alone. I'm not even at 50 grand between these two. I guess it depends on where you want to put your money. I can't afford a new, what are they, $80,000 now for a 3/4 ton truck, diesel if I wanted. I can't do that. I don't know many people that can now. Truck prices are astronomical, and new camper prices are just as bad. We picked this one up for 27 grand used. It's a 2021, and we went with a 2021 because most campgrounds that we were attending require campers no older than 10 years. So considering this one has no real boondock capability, we kind of had to meet that parameter so that we wouldn't have any issues. Will we keep this camper? Jess and I are still discussing that. Will we keep the truck? Absolutely. The truck is fantastic. I use it for more than just towing, and it's paid off. Like I said, I'm going to run that truck for as long as I can. I love that truck. So with that said, I hope that my experience can shed some light on what you might expect if you choose to do this yourself. I kind of wish I did a little bit more research ahead of time with the truck. So just remember to do your research. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. And happy trailering.